This daily market update has been brought to you by Daily Wealth Report. Trading involves risk of loss and may not be suitable for you. Past performance is no guarantee or reliable indication of future results. All advice and education content is of the nature of general information only and must not in any way be construed or relied upon as legal, financial or personal advice. Good morning traders and investors. It is Thursday the 26th of July and we've seen some mixed market activity overnight in Europe and in the US. As we take a look at the FTSE 100 index, we can see that looks like it was up. It was up from its opening for the day, but it actually closed down 0.9 of a point, virtually unchanged at 5498. What that does show us, though, is a slowing in the selling momentum over the last week, and as it is now at its 50-period moving average, we may be finding some support above 5400 here. We then take a look at the French CAC 40. It was up 7 points, again showing that slowing seller momentum and a potential reversal. However, it came off from its intraday highs in the last hour and a half of trading, which has formed a shadow on the top of yesterday's candle. So we haven't got a commitment from buyers just yet, but again, we are looking at this potentially holding above 3,000 points there. And finally, the German DAX, which is one of the stronger economies in the European arena, we can see that it was up 16 points, or 0.2%, closing at 6406. A very similar story to what we've just discussed with the FTSE and the French CAC 40. We then take a look at the US markets, and the Dow Jones was actually up compared to its other US indices, and it closed up 58 points, or nearly 0.5% at 12,676. This has formed a bullish engulfing pattern, so the large green candle we have there, which was last night's activity, completely engulfs the body of the previous candle. This offers suggestion that there's a reversal in the buyer activity there, in the sentiment behind the markets, and that has formed above this support level that we were discussing earlier at 12,460. So we remain in a sideways trading range, and there's a reasonable potential that there's an upward shift back towards 13,000 points here. And as we take a look at the other leading US indices, we've got the S&P 500, which was down 0.4 of a point, basically unchanged. Again, you can see that it had traded down early in the session, recovered, but it lost any of its intraday gains in the last hour and a half of trading, and pulled back to break even. It too is attempting to slow in its seller momentum and form a support base here at 1320, 1325. And again, as the Dow this is in a sideways trading range. We have a resistance level up at 1380 there. The Nasdaq index, the technology stocks, outperformed the markets generally, but in sellers it was down 8 points, or 0.3%, closing at 2854. It just wasn't able to recover in the same manner that the broader market was after the initial selling in the morning session. Now it is attempting to hold a previous low point, or what may be considered a support base, around the 2840 level. It is showing some slowing seller momentum, but we haven't seen a return of buyers just yet. Now that was heavily influenced by a weaker earnings report from Apple, and again overnight we are looking at the potential of Facebook, another leading technology stock, influencing the Nasdaq index too. Now what this did to the VIX index is it had seen the VIX come down as a little bit of volatility came out of the markets. It still remains up in the higher range, the short-term higher range. It closed at 1934. It was down $1.13, or 5.5%. This is an inside day, showing no real clear direction. Whilst there was some selling pressure in the markets on the VIX, it's not showing a change in direction at this point in time. So we'll just need to see if the buyers return to the markets, the VIX will start to retrace. But if the selling pressure persists, then the VIX will remain up around this $20 level. On the ASX market, we saw the index down 7 points for the day, but we have a large shadow on the bottom of the candle, and it closed at 4126. So that just reflects a return of buyers later in the session, or during the day, should I say, and is potentially showing a higher low point forming. So a continuation of this slight upwards range, which is pointing through that has formed over the last month and a half. The SPY futures are up 8 points, so this is showing a potential to at least trade above yesterday's open level, and if we can see a little bit of buy momentum here, then we have a reasonable probability of the ASX 200 trading back up towards that 4200 level there.
We still believe it's within this range. It's a relatively tight range. Buyers aren't committed to the markets enough to drive this up extremely high, yet the sellers aren't able to dominate this and push for new lows. So it's a sideways range that we need to be very cautious about at this point in time. And that's our market summary for Thursday the 26th. We look forward to giving you an update again tomorrow.